Hey, yo, what's going on, man?
Holler at your boy. Happy Monday, my friend.
How the hell are you?
I'm living that dream. that pimp daddy dream. And this shout out to everybody who's already up here in the Fanboy Modeling School. Only more to come, right?
Only more to come. Let's let this music play while we wait for more people. Cheers.
Right. Cheers, mate. I was just tossing that link out. You know what I mean? I was tossing that link out, letting the people know.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I got you.
So how was your day?
It was good, man. It was good. Yeah, same old work, slaving for the man, dealing with the ambiguity of people at the hostile workplace. How about you, man?
Jesus, that sounds horrible. That sounds like a really shit deal, bro.
You know what, man? I try to remind myself it's work, right? So here's a tip and trick from your boy Steve, man. I go to a small meditative place called Fuck You in my mind. I just kind of smile and I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you. But it's work, man. It's not always going to be great. Once you find your calling, which is doing this great content with you, my friend, and all our other various ventures, it makes it all worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, I love doing it. I love being here. I love doing Fanboy Modeling School, my man.
Hey, shout out to you. A great episode of Mothership Mondays. You and
I love
Lainey
it,
killing
man.
it as usual. Great, Lainey. Welcome in. How the hell are you?
We got Lainey. We've got RM. What up? Holler. Yes, no, honestly, I think me and Lainey are doing great things on Mothership Monday. I think I want to, may it rain for 1,000 years. You know what I mean?
May your house reign forever.
Why do I look like I'm sickly? Hold on, I gotta fix my lights real quick.
Because you don't take vitamin D.
I don't.
Take vitamin D's, no.
Hold on one second. Okay. Wait a moment. One of a moment. It is the fact of man.
Oh, I like that PFP you got there. A little Doctor Strange action.
Because I cast magic, my man. I cast that magic.
That's right.
Boom. Do I look less sickly?
Hold on, let me check. Let me come back to StreamYard. I was just checking on some things here. You didn't look sickly before.
RM says you need more foundation and powder.
That's the truth. That's the absolute truth.
What kind of powder? Oh God, we're gonna get ourselves in trouble. We've got an amazing show for you guys tonight. Here's what it is. We're gonna talk about a lot. No, I'm sorry. We're gonna talk a little about a lot today. Right. And our first thing I want to talk about is: are you upset?
With what?
Are you upset
about what?
AOC is off the market.
She's been off the market.
Well, no, but now she's got her wedding ring on.
Oh, you sick bastard.
The game is over for all those people who are trolling her about her political career and how wrong she often is about things just because you really had a crush on her. Your chance to get with her is now over, and that's going to be our first conversation. Second one is the disinformation government's born. Shut down. Boom. Within 3 weeks of it being created, it has been shut down. We also might want to talk about Nina Javowitz, the TikToker who was in charge of it.
Oh,
that's a bizarre thing going on.
I didn't even know this was a thing at all.
It was a real thing. It was a real thing for 3 weeks. And its rise and fall is definitely something we've got to be talking about. Then, of course, we've got Snow White and the 7 creatures. We're going to discuss the next Disney atrocity that they're doing in just a moment. Also, on Marvel, Daredevil is back.
Yes.
Confirmed writers and showrunners assigned to it now. But is this the Daredevil we want to see? We're going to talk about this. Okay. And I want to talk about all the good reviews going on. There's a lot of love in the air for reviews that are not superhero movies. And we're talking about Chippendales Rescue Rangers. We're talking about Top Gun 2. We're talking about Strangers with Candy. And the mission, and everyone's loving the Mission Impossible 7 trailer as if they liked that franchise in the first place. So we got to talk about all that. And then, of course, Doja Cat coming out of surgery, tonsils removed.
Ooh, ATM.
I got so many jokes.
It's too much ATM. I'll let you figure out what that acronym stands
Oh God, thank God he used the acronym. And then also we're going to talk about the Submariner. Although it has already been confirmed who the actor is, apparently there have been sightings of him actually in costume and on set, and exactly how big a role he has in Black Panther, Deuce, Wakanda Forever. Yeah.
Shut up.
Which is really just becoming the Wakanda show. Thing, because you can't really call it Black Panther at this point because you don't have a Black Panther.
It's true, man, because Disney didn't have the wherewithal to recast, but I get it, man. I can see how it would be complicated and terrifying.
So many people would protest.
Yes, yeah, people running out the theaters screaming and stuff like that, bro. What's up, Carmen? What up, Izzy? Welcome in.
How Carmen and Izzy, they're coming out of their Texas trip, aren't they?
Yes. The people's had fun in Texas. I seen the pictures. They were sending me videos, a lot of good cooking, a lot of good dancing, some beer pong going on there. Berlin does not look like he's the best.
Okay, I'm doing this in the dark.
Okay.
I couldn't get my lighting. I even look sickly right now. What's wrong with me?
I don't know. Did you turn on your what is the name of your camera? It is
it's a bunch of letters and numbers strung together.
No, what brand is it? Logitech. Did you turn on your Logitech filter?
Yeah. No, it's all good. It's just my lighting. My lighting is going on. It's just I live in a dungeon, so lighting is always a pain here.
Wait, no, dungeons are subterranean.
This is an air dungeon, like where they put the princesses and shit. RM says Rachel Ziegler wearing the Kmart cosplay of Snow White is very on brand for Disney these days. It really does look like she went to a Kmart and she bought the Halloween costume.
You know what? Sometimes you gotta go Kmart shopping, man. Sometimes you gotta go Kmart shopping. Let's do some honorable mentions. Obviously, the late Kevin Samuels, his funeral was this weekend, held in his hometown, and unfortunately it was streamed by his church, the church he grew up in as a small child, I'm sure as a young adult. So they streamed the funeral. A lot of people critiquing the funeral, calling it a struggle funeral. A lot of choice words. Go for it.
No, I'm sorry. I was testing lighting. I was comparing lighting. Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of people are tearing the funeral up, man. They got choice words to say about it. Obviously, Star from the Star Report, trying to remain objective, had some jokes.
Real quick, do you believe he's objective?
I think most people think they're being objective, but when it comes to trolling, you can't. Fundamentally, if you're trolling, you're not being objective.
I think he has always, his entire life, been a natural troll, which is where his career is based off of.
Yes.
And so I don't think there can be real objectivity to that.
No, I'll say this: I caught some of his recap for shout out to Star over there, the OG of this content creation space. One of the pioneers decided to leave radio, not go to XM. He was chased and left willingly. Started doing internet stuff and has had 3 different channels shut down on YouTube. Now he's back to 200.
For what?
Oh, being Star.
I don't know. I don't ever think he gets that loose.
What?
Ban loose?
Yeah, he's had 3. Bro, he got kicked off of Hot 97 for after Aaliyah died. He did the plane crash sound effect. See,
I didn't know you could get kicked off of YouTube for that. That's a joke,
Not
bro.
YouTube, Hot 97.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if he can, that's his normal brand. Making inappropriate jokes. But YouTube, you got to be like racist or a Nazi or something.
No, man. No. You should definitely read the terms and conditions.
Wait a minute. I haven't put it out yet, but I made a video where I go around to dead people that I don't like and I piss on their grave, and I have a video of it. Should I not post that?
You should definitely post it. He's had 3 channels shut down, but it's back up to 200,000 plus subscribers. He brought on a gentleman that had some dealings with Kevin Samuels back in the day, who loaned famously now Kevin Samuels. We got to say allegedly because none of us were there for it, but I believe this gentleman apparently loaned Kevin Samuels $300 when Kevin was still down to get his phone repaired. And another content creator by, if I have the name correct, This Nosy Ho, did a complete critique of the entire. I'm not taking shots.
And you know if it's coming from someone named this nosy
Nosy.
you're getting the legit info.
Did a complete critique of the entire stream, has some choice words, not for Kevin Samuels per se, but for the Manosphere, because a lot of the creators from the Manosphere didn't show up. I'm thinking it was more like a family event. I know a couple of them went down. So
if you know someone from online, it's not always appropriate to go to the funeral.
Yeah, no.
Like, even no offense to some of you, I would not attend your funeral. No offense. Ooh. But that's out of respect for your mothers.
Oh. All of that sounded pointed. But you know, we had some of that. Obviously, a lot of controversy surrounding, not controversy, a lot of hearsay, a lot of different things being said about the Kendrick Lamar album. Is it good? Is it not good? Is it a departure from?
I mean, it's just talking heads.
Kendrick and
looking for an excuse to talk.
So, you know, I guess my recap of the album, I actually really enjoyed it. You know, I'm a lyricist guy. I'm lyrics first, content of the lyrics first. I could see how some people who are more into the club-based hip-hop didn't enjoy the album as much because there weren't what you would call club bangers, and there's nothing you could really play driving around the streets, like bobbing your head, getting ignorant to. Some very great messaging in there. I gave the album, I gave it, 4 mics from the old Source standard. Gave it 4 mics out of 5. I thought it was good. I think Kendrick, he's not always my cup of tea. His cadence is not for me. I've told you this before, but I respect the man for doing something artistic and trying something different, bringing lyrics back to the forefront. And go for it.
He is an amazing lyricist.
Yes.
I've only heard that track that he did the video for. I haven't heard the rest of the album, so I got to get on that.
Yeah, no, it's worth a listen, man. Honestly, Kendrick, I think one of the best assessments I've heard of Kendrick Lamar, and I would not dispute this in any way, he would be the Miles Davis, some people have said, of hip hop. And when I first heard that, I was like, that's an interesting comparison, because the personality-wise, they're nothing alike. Kendrick is not a conceited, pompous asshole like Miles Davis was. Jesus God rest his soul. But he celebrated himself.
You do realize that when a great man dies, you are not allowed to say anything bad about him, right?
No, he called himself these things, so I can call you whatever you call yourself.
Well, I'm an amazing son of a bitch, a genius, a philanthropist, and a wonderful man. I'm very good in bed.
You're all those things. I don't know about the last thing. We'll have to hit up some of your ex-girlfriends who I've got on call right now. Bring them up.
No. Welcome into the whole Texas crew. We're talking Izzy. Is Cincy here yet? Carmen, Kathy, we love you all. RM says he is El Submarino.
El Submarino, yeah. Some people taking umbrage with that. And the last thing for honorable mentions, Jack Harlow, man, catching the heat of an angry hip-hop community. People are calling his new album a Drake album ripoff. There's some people that are bringing race into it. I actually think Jack Harlow's a talented young man. I think when it comes to talent in hip-hop, your race means nothing to me unless you're actually pulling like a Vanilla Ice or something like that. Jack Harlow's a great kid, great guy, bright future. But widely, hip hop has said no.
Public says, "Who is Jack Harlow?"
That's funny because you're usually up on all the new stuff. Jack, go check him out. You probably know some of his music and didn't even know it was him. Izzy, of course.
Wait, you said Public is always up on the new stuff?
Public seems to be up on a lot of new stuff. No, sorry, Kathy. Jack Harlow is not a British comedian. He is a MC.
Yeah, but Public once asked me who Jim Carrey was, so I'm not sure if I have faith that they know.
No. Yeah, I listened to the new Jack Harlow album, and again, I could see where people are making the comparison to a Drake album. I'm not a Drake fan. He's got some stuff that I play on Request Box because I think it's silly, and I play it because other people like it. But I'm gonna be the person to say it. Drake sucks, right? And once we all wake up from the pill that we've taken, he's not a genius. He's one of the best commercially selling MCs ever, but I don't want to say that Jack Harlow tried to bite his style, because then I would be saying, because I've heard. Jack
hold
Harlow
on, here's what I'm saying. Before. What is biting at the end of the day? I'm saying you got 50 mumble rappers all sounding the same. During the golden age of hip hop, everyone wanted to sound like Biggie or Tupac, and sometimes you guys who are like in between. But one could easily argue they're biting each other's style. That's just being in a scene. You know what I mean?
Okay, so biting is when you deliberately definitely try to sound like someone. And no matter how much you like, the industry pushes it to commercialize it. Real fans of a craft are gonna be like, yo, this dude's just trying to be another Pac, or he's just trying to be another Biggie. Case in point, Ja Rule, or say for instance Jay-Z, who we all know would not have blown up if Biggie was still alive.
And he was kind of friends with Biggie, but he certainly loved to drop that. He was like, me and Biggie, my boy Biggie, dropping it all the time.
Yeah, Jay-Z is the Jada Pinkett of hip hop.
Yeah. He slid right in there. Dropping the name dropping, right? Name dropping like crazy. But I'm just saying, like, it's true, it could be biting, but I'm just saying, like, all genres are based off of biting.
No, I think when people say biting in hip hop, or I'll just speak in the realm of hip hop, they're making a specific claim that your engineer, your producers, you all sat down and you said, hey, we want this sound. But the hip hop community and hip hop fans are different than R&B fans. They're different than punk rock fans. They're different. Hip hop fans are very, very fickle, and you don't want to give them any excuse not to buy your album. So if you drop an album that sounds like Drake's old album, guess what they're going to do? They're going to drag you, because hip hop is filled with the original trolls. And then, a lot of people came at Jack Harlow for that. I will say this though, man, Jack Harlow has one ability that Drake does not have. He can freestyle, which in my mind really separates someone from being a performer to an MC.
Yeah, so no, you're right. And actually, even earlier Drake's, when he used to be rapping before he called himself Drake, when he was actually rapping by his real name, Aubrey Graham, he was actually more of an R&B sounding dude. So I don't even think that he's an
emotional guy, and there's nothing wrong with that.
He's a Canadian. He's a Canadian.
Nothing wrong with
no offense to our northern brothers, but
our aggressive friends from the north. Let's get right into this, man. What do you got?
And Izzy says everything now in the days is sampled from older music, so technically everyone is biting. That is another part of my point. I understand how people say biting, but they don't know what they're talking about, because everything is based off of biting now.
So here's the thing, man, and that's funny because you were just making a defense for DJs that could beat match. So, it's funny you say this about the sampling thing, because some people would say sampling and turning a sample into a new beat is an art. What say you, Mantis? Does that make them an artiste?
If they do it well, yes.
Is the
you realize that we're having the same argument? This is the thing. Let's nip this in the bud. We're having the same argument, just under a different Geist every time. It's like you want to get back to that subjective truth argument so bad. You try to argue it in every other aspect. This is the same subjective truth. It's a similar concept. If someone wants to believe they're an artist and they say they're an artist, I'm not going to give them pushback. I'm like, okay. If some guy takes a shit in a toilet and takes a picture of it and is like, this is my art, I'm like, okay, brother. I won't necessarily buy it.
Have you ever thought about a career in maybe suicide prevention? I can see you affirming a lot of people to death.
It's not my job to call people posers. It's not my job to challenge other people's truth. And so Jack Harlow's like, no, my shit's original. Okay, brother.
No, see, that's the difference though, because we're not having the same argument. I'm having the argument as a real hip hop enthusiast and a real hip hop lover. And I would honestly say people who would call themselves hip hop artists, no, they're just commercialized, performers. And there's nothing wrong with being a performer. Stay in your lane though. Like, I was watching a great interview with the battle rapper Disaster, who's about to battle Crooked. And both of these guys are legendary MCs, like write their own stuff, amazing freestylers. They are artists, like in the truest form. Like when it comes to hip hop, they're as high as it comes when it comes to lyricism. And I was thinking about that the other day while I was listening to the Jack Harlow album, and I was like, where did he go wrong in this? The thing that where he went wrong most was he tried to appease a base. I say stop trying to make music for idiots that drink lean. Make music that will leave legacy. Just do something that you believe in as a creator. Don't do anything that's going to appease these idiots. I'm not here to argue with people, but I'm damn sure not here to confirm or affirm your dumbass beliefs either. You can sit on the other side of the room.
Yeah, but it's not what I'm saying. It's not my job. I'm not going to take the time to challenge it. So
oh no, that's what we're supposed to.
It's not my thing.
I challenge anything that comes across the table. But shout out to Jack Harlow.
We noticed. We have all noticed that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about it, bro. You can't have an opinion on one thing and challenge one thing and then say it's not my job. I just keep it a buck when I'm giving my opinion on stuff. But I will say this last thing about Jack Harlow, man. He's a great guy. great MC, great future, man. Sometimes I think people come along a little bit ahead of their time. So I would say ditch the fucking trying to appease the kitty boppers and the backpack weirdos and just make dope music.
Backpack weirdos, man. Ugh.
It's
Don't get me started, man. They were cool. They were cool for about 2 years there in the late 90s. and then their genre of rap just went out.
No, I think it just went more underground. Like, well, when you lose like Raucous Records and Fat Beats and all those like pivotal places, it's like people don't support the things they love. We had this conversation in regards to inclusive material in comics. Like, people scream inclusivity and then they don't go out and buy the book. And I'm like, well, there goes your new Warriors.
Right. But they'll for some reason buy like some bullshit. And so an example is, you're right, they're not going to support their independent artists, but they'll buy Jay-Z's album when it comes out because everyone told them they had to.
Oh my gosh.
But they're the first person at the next hangout who will be like, they'll be like, Jay-Z's garbage.
Kathy just brought something up, Murder Inc. Now I'm going to say this, man, and talking about confronting things. There in my life have been many, many moments when I've watched people crash and burn and I've sat across the table and laughed my ass off, but nothing brings me as much joy as the systematic destruction of Murder Inc. and all the people involved in it. Every time I see Irv Gotti or Ja Rule trying to bounce back and they're doing interviews about their era of hip hop, I just think about how
is Ja Rule still trying to be something?
Oh yeah, he tours all the time.
Oh, I didn't fucking know that.
Yeah. The systematic breakdown, that era of hip hop, like just watching that era where they destroyed Dipset, 50 and the Crew destroyed Dipset, they destroyed Murder Inc. It's absolutely amazing. One of my favorite times. Huh?
Oh, saying hi to the chat, Hannah particularly.
Hannah. But let's get into it, man. What do you got up first?
So yeah, well, we've already messed with AOC. I think that story's going to go as far as it can. So we've got the Disinformation Governance Board. So for those of you who don't know, Joe Biden's like, he this came probably, he'll probably deny it, probably came from the fear of Elon Musk buying Twitter. And he thought, freedom of speech is happening. I can't let this happen. So he created something called the Disinformation Governance Board. Now, one would think that would be part of the FCC. The FCC's job is to make sure that, what goes on in terms of like broadcasting and media and new media and stuff like that. But instead, he makes this board part of Homeland Security, complete with the power of enforcement. Meaning, theoretically, if they don't like you giving disinformation on your YouTube channel, let's say, the Homeland Security can kick in your door and put a gun in your face. Was the theory that the people are worried about. So as soon as it was created, 20 states across the board sued the federal government. Because basically, if it was the FCC just hands out fines.
Right.
You're not in prime time and you're on radio, public radio, and you curse, they'll throw you a fine, whatever. You lie about COVID, they'll throw you a fine, whatever. That's what they were hoping it would be. But instead, he gave them actually policing powers, which is why everyone, I don't know if you've seen on Twitter and a bunch of things, what was trending was hashtag Ministry of Truth, which is, the propagandist wing in the book 1984.
Okay.
And the craziest thing about this is the woman in charge of it, her name is Nita Jackowitz, is a TikToker.
Okay.
She's a woman in the government, but like, some dead end job, but she's a TikToker where she makes leftist songs. Like she does parody songs, like she takes Disney songs and rewords them. So they're about to like they're propaganda for the Biden administration.
Oh, wow.
And she was ahead of this, which means that TikTok woman would have been the one ordering the jackbooted thugs to kick in your door and shoot you for spreading misinformation. It was a sight to see. So this thing was lasting for about 3 weeks. It lasted for 3 weeks, and they finally shut it down because of all the lawsuits.
All right, so let me hear your thoughts on this. You're the free speech is under attack guy.
Yes, I am. I'm free speech. Yeah, baby. I was flipping out at first. I was like, oh my God, this is what this is truly going to happen. They're going to take away our right to freedom of speech. if they have a policing board. I was literally losing sleep over it, bro. I was having nightmares. That I was like trolling someone on Facebook, and like I hear the sirens, and I'm like, oh shit, and I duck out the window, and I'm like, I'm in boxers, and I'm just running through the woods.
Okay.
And so I'm so happy. I got to tell you, I am so freaking happy that this happened.
This wasn't on my radar at all. I don't really dabble in the free speech thing. I believe in free speech, but I don't spend an inordinate amount of time combing the internet looking for the free speech boogeyman, and especially when it comes from anything that Biden's thrown out there. And then this is the reason why. This is also the same man that just a day ago said that we would use force to help who is it, Taiwan, if they're invaded, and then had to roll that back. And so this is the administration of rollbacks. But this isn't the first time we've seen some idiotic shit like this. And this is why I tell people stop reacting so quickly, because I think they're looking for a big reaction. For those of you who have not been on Twitch or exposed to Twitch sometime, there was a council that Twitch had formed, very similar concept as to what you just laid out.
Right, that was with the trans animal, right? The trans creature.
Deer hunter. You got to say the deer hunter.
The deer hunter.
Yes, that person. And I remember everyone was freaking out, like Twitch is taking away our freedom of speech. They're going to inhibit us. And I'm like, this is an honorary council that they made with one shut-in and a bunch of slightly known streamers. Stop freaking out, man. You're still going to have your freedom. You're still going to be able to talk. They are obviously distracting us from something else, but I'm not going to totally, because I think some people get kind of like, guy in the basement about this stuff. Like, my free
bro, you don't understand. Okay, they are, like Lainey said, they are trying to take all our rights away. Way to say, Lainey, and you just don't see. You're the guy who's just like, it's okay, bro. The world is burning around you, and I'm like, yo, come on, bro.
No, that's you.
No, that's you, bro.
You feel very strongly about this, and I respect your right to feel strongly about this.
You don't understand. It's all coming apart. They want to take our rights.
Right.
They're going to take our women. They're going to take our freedom.
Our women.
Wait, I'm trying to think of the Braveheart speech. How does it go? They can take our lands. They can take our women, but they can never take our freedom. Right.
No, I definitely think that I definitely always think there's a chance with private institutions or privately owned companies like Twitch, YouTube, etc. They can definitely snatch it up, but they're not really taking your freedom to say things on these private things. They are just exhausting their right.
This was their attempt, though, by making part of Homeland Security. The same people who fight terrorists, my man.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Did it go through?
It didn't go through.
All right. Oh.
because Patriots fought it is my point. Because
the Patriots fought
it. Like 60 Seconds sounds about right. They take your voice, then they take your guns, and they just take it, and then you just take it up the rear. Boom.
The Patriots fought it and they won. Well, I'm glad, man. Someone's got to be out there spilling their finger blood on the keyboards, protecting our freedoms. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to just dust the Dorito dust off yourself. Stand up and protect the freedoms.
Public, I'm not going to repeat it, but
ain't nothing wrong with taking it up the rear, yo. Unless it's uninvited.
Right, that's a different story. As usual, FanBoy Modeling School in the gutter. Topics led us into the gutter. So what it is I'm worried about this and how it affects you, brother.
No, listen, I got my serious hat on now. Now
you know why?
Why? Tell me why.
Here's what I'm saying. You were not a hoe tapper, but you were this close to one sometimes.
No, that you obviously
so you don't realize. Here's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The white man ain't gonna love the things you say on your other shows.
Nobody is gonna love the shit I say.
And one day
I give it to them equally.
And so if the Disinformation Governance Board was alive, they'd look at it and be like, this is dangerous for white America. We need to shut this down.
I want you to wrap your mind around something, right? I'm going to take you through a brief history. Before the advent of the internet, when people could safely be patriots from their home in their chairs, there were people who stood up on podiums and screamed for freedom. And so you just move it to the streets, right? You're with the business. You'll come out in the streets with me and scream for the rights and the freedom, right? Nothing to worry about. This is fake news, man. Listen, here's what we really need to be worried about. Why is your boy Elon backing out of the deal?
Okay, so we'll talk about this right now, but I just want to say, guys, you heard it here first. Steve is the man. Steve, you know what it is? You are so, you know what it is?
What is it? What am I this time?
No, I'm just saying, you don't realize.
I don't realize
the power of your speech, and I respect that.
The power of my speech. I realize the power of my speech.
What I'm saying is you have a very powerful platform, and you speak, you speak, like you said, you speak with your chest. Yeah. You get it out there, and I think that the mainstream people are not going to love what you have to say. And if there's ever people who can dictate what is true and what's false, they're gonna deem what you say as false.
So here's the thing, though. So you just take the message outside or on the dark web. I don't live in fear of these fucking weirdos like trying to just like, if the message is true, you can only stifle the truth so much. So I want you to know that, one, I have no love for the Hoteps, and they ain't got no love for me. So if they're listening,
I mean, obviously you're not a Hotep. Obviously you're not a Hotep.
Wait, no, it's not you, brother. I just want to make sure the Hoteps know that nothing's changed. Fuck y'all. In case you thought we were cool, but I get what you're saying. It's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope, but also you realize that in our circle, in our circle, what you say is not that extreme. But to, let's say, a white rich dude like Biden, you are basically Malcolm X right now.
Bro, I think I could shake Biden so easily. Like if I just give him like this, he might have a seizure and fall over. I think I can.
Okay. I'm just saying. I'm gonna come for you.
Wait. I don't want to get off this yet. So people sued. It was thwarted. What now? Let me ask you this question: how close, in your estimation, do you think this was actually as a tangible threat to your freedom? And I'm not being facetious. I'm not trying to be a dick or anything like that. How close do you feel like you were going to lose the ability to be able to speak freely?
Realistically, it wasn't probably going to happen in my lifetime.
Right.
But what it is all it takes is slowly to edge the president. That's what people do. They're playing the slow game. And so right now they're putting the board in power, and it's just 20 or 30 years when they decide to really enact it.
It's just the tip game. That's what you're saying.
It's just the tip. It's just the tip right now. Thank God people were objecting to the tip. You know what I'm saying? Thank God they were objecting to the tip. Because next thing you know, you're having ass babies by the Biden administration. And they don't pay child support.
I'm a butt baby. Definite butt baby.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm passionate about this. Not butt babies, but for freedom of speech. And so that's why it's getting all a little wild, okay?
Wait, is public still on about the rear thing? I just think an example of taking it up the rear as a type of humiliation makes me roll my eyes. Sure, the R word is humiliating. So then R, rather than using anal as negative than in place of it. Yeah, let me think about this one for a second. Let me think about this one for a second. I'll swing back to that one, Pubs. Unless Mantis, you want to take a stab at it, because I think this was in
I'm not touching that one with those.
I think this was in reference to the comment that Cincy made.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. That's what he said. He said first they take our freedom of speech, then they take our guns, then we're taking it up the ass, basically. that is where that is where that's from. Right. I'm not fielding whether, but thank you for sharing, public. Thank you. I know I will consider. I'm certainly considering it, but I'm not getting canceled tonight. Rethinking whether that's a phrase we should use or something.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, and I'm receptive to public's comment. I just don't want to make a public statement right now because I'm sure I'm going to say the wrong thing.
Oh, see, and this is the thing, man. What good is freedom of speech if you're not going to use it?
I don't know. What's the point of all this social media if I just can't say whatever the fuck I want to say, basically?
Man, just sometimes I have this image of you like sweating about to put a tweet out, like you're like, this is gonna be great, this is gonna hit, and you delete it like 8 times. You're like,
yo, that is exactly me, bro. It's on Facebook, it's on everything. I do the tweets. I'm like literally, I'm like, yeah, I'm on the last word. I'm halfway through the word, and I go, and I'm like, delete. And I know they have systems to know that I was thinking it. They're in my head, bro. They're in my head.
Now this is a really good one, interesting one from Laney. Realistically, I don't think we thought we were going to become socialists in our lifetime. I resist socialism at every turn, but I will say this: I agree with that assessment, Laney. I think if you brought someone from about 4 decades ago and you showed them universal health care, they'd be like, they made it in. Pub says, I just had to speak my truth. Mantis?
Actually, since he wants to continue that conversation, we going with it? Boom. He says, does that not imply the R word?
Hey, do me a favor, since he throw a few stars in there next time. But no, here's the crazy thing, right? In context of being forcibly taken from you, I think that it would imply the R word, but I understand where you're coming from. Okay.
Right.
We got a little dialogue going on in the chat. We're gonna let you guys.
I see what he's saying. It was implied because he's by him saying it. He's saying he's not into that stuff.
Yeah, it's forced.
It's the government. Biden is
he's the hair sniffer. Who knows how far he's going to take this thing? And, you know, he's like, I'm always waiting for him to pop up right behind you. You know, but I just want to. I'm going to circle back to this, man. The importance of free speech, right? Once upon a time, man, this was an interesting take that I heard from someone that was socially conservative.
Wait, I need to ask a question about how we're operating this thing. So I see certain people have wonderful comments in there, and I want to hit them up, but they're using the full words. And so if we put them on the screen, and we're getting in trouble.
Yes, we're 100% because I just read one of them and it has the P word in it. It has the
Kathy. That's a wonderful comment, and I want to share it, but I'm not going to put it on. But I have read it, and
Well, wait. You know what? Screw it, man. I'm not scared. It's so okay. What's the context here? P's, trafficking, violence, inciting racism, death. Those things do have to be monitored for the better good. Okay, I'm gonna let Mantis take a stab at this one first before I weigh in because I have more colorful beliefs. But Mantis. Is saying, go ahead.
So in the face of freedom of speech, I do believe, here's what it is. I believe, and I think we've said it before, you should have the right of freedom of speech, but not freedom of consequences. And if bad, evil stuff happens as a result of that, you are responsible. I do think you should have the right to say it. And so in terms of social media, the first thing I got to say, just before anyone thinks Twitter or any of these things are going to turn into some sort of cesspool for white supremacy and there's going to be swastika all over the place, the App Store and the Apple Store ban that stuff. Recruitment into white supremacy, swastikas, all of them. And all of their apps have to. If an app doesn't admit to that, they're not allowed in the App Store. So already these companies are already stopping the most extreme forms of you know what I'm saying? There can't be any of the P word on social media.
Wait, did you say the Apple App Store?
Yeah, they're saying that they're not going to allow.
So what you're saying is that all the scumbags are going to own Androids from now on.
No, the App Store. No, but I'm saying that the regular App Store as well is doing that. Okay. Both of the big dogs are like, we don't want any part of this. And so it's already self-regulating. I think people, if they have a platform, that allows it, they should be able to say it, of course. I just don't want the government arresting them for saying that or interfering with that.
Okay.
But like, here's what I'm saying. Let's say I have a stage and I'm like, I rent out my stage. Right. I should have the right to, if some neo-Nazis come over, be like, no, you can't use my stage. I don't care how much you're going to pay me. And that's self-governing and fix itself. I don't want your bullshit. You don't get to say it. They can take it to one of their skinhead stages and sing there. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. But I do agree with that. All that stuff needs to be regulated. That is absolutely regulated. The problem why the freedom of speech of it should be regulated is because it's in commission of a crime. If you're showing images of the P word, that's a crime already. And therefore, you can't do that. You see what I'm saying?
Of the action. Yes.
Yeah.
I get
so,
that.
like, if I'm like, yo, it's my freedom of speech, I'm going to start posting pictures of my girlfriend who I killed. I've committed a crime, and therefore, that should be that is banned because it's involved in a crime. You see what I mean?
Yeah. I see what you're saying. It's funny because the loophole on there is as long as the 7 o'clock news or the 11 o'clock news, Eyewitness, Fox, or whatever. Did you actually see that clip that they released where it had been pulled from the internet, but a news site reposted it of the man in an Arab nation had beheaded You know about this. You know where I'm going,
Yes,
right?
I do know this. I knew.
It
I know
got
this.
it almost successfully got scrubbed from the internet, and then it got reposted again. So it's interesting who's allowed to post certain things in honor of information and dispersing that information. Now, my view on this is I believe bad ideas to be refuted publicly. And I'm old enough to remember when they tried to suppress these groups and their recruitment went up. You know, remember the dark days of dial-up, and they were really monitoring, because it was around that time that we were still worried about white militias. You remember this time in America? We were all scared of the white militia.
Yeah, the rise of it. It was dial-up internet. It was when we were on Bolt.com.
Ooh, yuck.
In those chat rooms. And every so often, every 10th dude was like a white supremacist. Like, yo, it's all those darkies.
Yeah, like if the more you push these groups into the dark, it's interesting. Their recruitment goes up, publicly exposing them and exposing their bad ideas and refuting them. And I actually honestly think people should engage more people that they think are racist. Have a public discourse with people. Allow people to hear the two ideas going back and forth against each other. Just come to some agreements beforehand. You know,
word. But like I said, like you were saying, it's interesting to see who's allowed to post what for so long. Like, for instance, certain groups or types of people get they're monitoring you worse, and they're going to hit you quicker, while some nice kid from the suburbs, he can put you know, some P video up, and it's going to be months before he's caught.
Well, you know, that goes both ways. So I actually think there's only one site I've ever wanted pulled down, and that's WorldStar. I think WorldStar has done more damage to the black community than any others.
I was working Target, and I'm like in the office, I'm like doing something, and some kid from guest services came up to me, and he's looking at his phone, and I'm like, and he makes a face, and I'm like, yo, what you looking at, bro? He goes, WorldStar. And I was like, cool. What is it? Flips the phone. I see it. It is the image I wish I had never seen.
Right.
It was share. Well, because describing it will not do justice for it. Yeah, it was a kid who had his jaw blown off by a shotgun.
See.
And there was nothing doctors could do for him. He was dying, and someone was filming him die. And he was sitting there like, and he literally looked like a zombie movie, only it's worse when it's real.
Yes, because it's real. And
I was just like, and I looked at it, and it was, you know, you weren't prepared for it. I was at work. I was like,
so there's a thing that happens, which is called like a shared apathy. And I believe this has been brought on by a lot of the things we're exposed to on the internet. And that's why on one hand, I get what people are saying, we should monitor things like this. But also, I just think at a certain point, you're not going to be able to take it down. You can't flag it. They'll find another way to get it up. You have to decide to reject it entirely. Like, I don't support WorldStar, and I don't support anyone that goes on WorldStar, and I won't have a conversation with anyone that supports WorldStar. It's one of my deal breakers, right? Because you can't say on one hand that you're pro-black, and then on the other hand, you watch WorldStar, which shows the worst parts of our community.
I mean, here's what I don't understand. And so I made a joke about you being a hotepper. And obviously, I was just to you know, I'm poking the bear.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's probably way worse, like in terms, like, for instance, he like literally gave up all sports after Colin Kaepernick took the knee. He said, all of them are slaves. F this thing. He was the biggest Cowboys fan I've ever seen in the world. He stops, right?
Right.
He's into like all this stuff. He is the man who posts the most amount of teenage black kids beating each other's asses on fucking Instagram. Like, most of his things are watching black kids beat the shit out of himself and him making jokes about it. Yeah. But he's always talking about black empowerment. He's always talking about the white man holding you down. He doesn't think those videos hold him down.
It's a blind spot. It's like psychologically, it's a blind spot. A lot of people can't see it, and a lot of people won't touch it. A lot of people. I guarantee, right? So, besides talking to you right now, if I was talking to someone who was Anglo-Saxon descent or maybe Celtic descent, and I was explaining to them why WorldStar is problematic, I would be making them entirely uncomfortable, right? Because I'm calling out something that an inordinate amount of people enjoy, and people go on there to express themselves. They do other things besides show, you know, black people at their worst. But for me personally, it's one of those things, like, I know I can't take it down, so I don't consume it. You know what I'm saying? I will not watch any of it. Now, don't get me wrong. I just sent Cincy a video of what just happened in Newark Airport, where this I don't know if you call him a flight attendant, but one of the people that, you know, you buy your ticket from and they get your bag at the beginning, got a little big for his britches. Looked like he was using the word bro a lot, and he got pieced up. Now, that type of shit is liberating. You step,
I know that is.
You know me.
I know what you mean. There are certain fights that are like it's cool to watch.
Like he had it coming. So I was like, this is the universe and the positive affirmations playing themselves out. You know what I'm saying? He manifested that ass whooping on that guy.
Public really badly wants you to address this issue right here.
Why I can't see some titties on television? Why I can't see some who says you can't see some titties on television?
So obviously it's like time restricted. Like they have like time, like for instance, 6 p.m. and you can't see them. But like 10 p.m. you can. You know what I mean? Like
that. What is a simple fix for that? Step back to reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, why wait for it on TV? Go see the real thing in real life. That's what I'm saying. Easy. So
Laney says, "What the F is World Star?" So World Star was originally a like hip hop, really was a post your anything site. For it directed or aimed toward the hip hop community, but people started just posting loose shit. It was mostly watching people get shot, watching people die, crazy shit, people getting mauled by dogs and shit. I've seen that on World Star. It's just a place to see the worst shit. You want to see? Yeah, you want to see a train run? You're going to see videos of that there.
Yo, guys, excuse me. I know you've been noticing me doing this lately, but just do me a favor. If you're still here, drop a 1 in the chat so Twitch recognizes that you're here and you're not a bot. If everyone that's here and you're having a good time, you're enjoying the conversation, drop a 1 in the chat so Twitch knows you're not a bot, and it keeps the number up, helps us out a great deal. Yeah, man. When it comes to freedom of speech, man, you got to be able to step in the arena. And I think at a certain point, we have to accept the fact that you can either stifle the conversation or you can be willing to have the conversation. And I just don't understand where some people are going with this whole thing now. In spite of all the jokes we made before, obviously, I believe that you should have the right to say whatever's on your mind, but you're not free from the consequences, whether that be an ass whooping or being socially cast out. You just gotta take what it comes with, man.
Yeah. So basically, I do believe in freedom of speech, but I do agree that, like, let's say somebody says something super racist or crazy, and they lose all their friends, and they're like, "What? I have the right to say it." It's like, no, there's a blowback to being an ass.
Can I share a story with you? I was talking to a buddy once, and he was like, "Why can't?" Obviously, not a black guy. He was like, "Why can't I say the N-word? Who says I can't say it?" I'm like, "Hold up, my brother. Let me just set you free right now. You can say whatever you want, but you have to be willing to deal with what comes next. I won't restrict you. Say if it makes you feel better, but there's a reaction for everything that you do in this life. So, you just got to be willing to do that." And that's why I respect Star. I don't agree with a lot of his takes. The reason he's been banned is because he said some atrocious shit on the internet, but he had the right to say it, and people decided to come back. So that just lets you know where people are. So
yeah, I don't even think he's that wild compared to the shit I've heard people say.
Bro,
unless he's changed over the years, like,
bro, he's been wild. He's been wild since Hot 97. This is okay. I can't say this online right now. I'm gonna send you a video, but it has to do with a panel that we just had the other day.
Yeah,
and he has some strong beliefs about it, and I could not believe his YouTube didn't get clipped.
I really want to see. I really want to see this.
It's amazing. Shout out to Star. Only shout out to Star because he's if you believe in free speech, he's a champion for free speech, and we just got to stay consistent that way, man.
And so Izzy says, "I'd be fascinated by those crazy deaths and shooting videos and stuff. Why can't I just stop watching them once I start?" So he's addicted to watching World Star.
Man. People actually go to group therapy for that. I'm not judging you, Izzy. I get it, man. Like I said, I watched that video of that guy in New York getting punched like 80 times before I sent it to Sensi. Did I send it to you, Mantis? Quite possibly one of the best punches I've ever seen.
No, I have not seen it. Please.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so Kathy wants the male nudity though. Not fair. So
go ahead.
You know what's funny? I was gonna surprise you and make a video about it.
Of what, male
but
nudity?
I'm just gonna let you know I'm watching something that you and Gray and a couple other people have just constantly been like, you have to watch. What
are you watching?
I'm mostly through most of the episodes.
Of what?
I'm finally watching Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh, great show, man.
Amazing show. A lot of cocks. Show.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cocks. It's like an HBO series.
Bro, have you ever seen Spartacus, the show that used to come on Stars?
No, I didn't know.
A lot of swinging dong in that show.
See, the dong is coming back. A lot of women are like, "Yo, where's my dong?" The dong's here, and it's here to play.
Hold on for a second. Just think about when we were younger, man. They couldn't make a movie like kids nowadays, which, by the way, you cannot buy digitally anymore in America
because it's considered child.
Yep. Nope.
I had heard about that. And remember, we used to love that movie.
What are you? I'm not French. You're French. I've always taken strong stances against it, my good friend.
But I mean, we were young. So I don't know. Before you had a little bit, and people freaked out, but I thought it was great. Dong. I'm telling you, HBO puts Dong in their shit all the time. Game of Thrones has so many cocks. Like it should be Game of Cocks.
Hold on for a second. Do you remember that show Queer as Folk? That show, bro, I remember there were people protesting the level of dong in that show. Don't forget the L word. Obviously, don't forget Oz. Hold on. Who's old enough to remember the show Oz? Drop a 1 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. It used to come on.
So I remember Oz. I didn't watch it though because there was certain subject matter I was not down with.
Bro, that show was wild. It was like absolutely.
I don't want to get more horror. Like I already fear prison. I don't need a show. I don't want to need a show every week to remind me of how scared I am in prison.
You ain't got to be scared as long as you're willing to defend yours.
He says, when I was a child, I was walking with my grandmother and I watched a man get hit by an ambulance and went flying in the air. And like I remember everything because I'm more fascinated than anything what can happen to the human body. Yeah,
man, bro, it's crazy, man.
Gray says I made sure to warn you about the dongs. She did indeed.
They're just flopping around. Yeah, if you're one of the people in the chat that's screaming for male nudity, I got some shows for you. Go watch Queer as Folk. Go watch Spartacus on Stars.
Game of Thrones.
Love and Robots. What's another one? Oz. Go watch that.
Yeah, right. I'm sure nowadays. I'm sure most HBO now is just whipping cocks out left and right.
Yeah, they're looking for any excuse to get the dong out there, man. They're like,
it's Cock Central over on the Rich People channel.
The pitch meeting is them just throwing dildos at each other all day. Like, how can we work this into the story?
Y'all should watch the movie Love. I don't know if I know it. It sounds like I should have watched something called Love, right?
What is love?
It's probably what. That's so deep. What is love?
What is love?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. But yo, this has been a lovely conversation about freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Answer your Elon Musk question.
Oh yes, Daddy Elon.
Here's what it is. I think he's trying to lower the price, but I think it blew up in his face. And so basically, here's what it is. Right. He offers $44 billion. They can't. I have to accept it. They're like, yeah, we'll take it. They originally said to him, we believe 5% of the app are bots. Right?
Right.
He does his own analysis, and he comes to the conclusion that at least 20% of the app are bots. At that point, he's like, I don't know if I want to buy it. He's pulling the, I don't know if it's worth it.
Right.
And they're calling on it. They're like, oh, okay. But I think a lot of analysts before that he had to pull out were suggesting that he's just trying to lower that price. That originally you attract someone to the table with the $44 billion, and then you go, well, really, this car you're selling me is a piece of shit. But
they didn't bite.
They didn't bite. So maybe he's not as good as a businessman as we thought.
Let me ask you a question. Do you I know the answer. Do you really think that Elon is a champion for freedom of speech, or is this some angle in regards to his legacy? Do you think that Elon is trying to position himself as this hero figure for people?
Yeah, this is legacy, and this is hero figure. This is all about him. At the end of the day, this is all about him. However, he's doing something that helps me, that benefits me.
Oh,
so therefore I'm into it. If he can give free speech to Twitter, and obviously there's no such thing as free speech, obviously he's going to limit the speech against his companies and him. Obviously,
right.
No sane person would let that happen. You know what I'm saying? So obviously he's doing that, but I don't care about him or his companies. I want to be able to say and do whatever I want on it. I want to be able to be like, yo, Grace Randolph, you a bitch. Like straight up.
Let's play a little game. Free speech is returned like freedom to Iraq tomorrow. What's the first thing you're going to tweet?
I guess you're going to have to be there and see when it happens. Because it's going to be loose. I've been preparing it for weeks. I've been rewriting it and editing it. It's only 2 sentences long, but it's loose. It's going to shake you all to your core. this means he's a billionaire. He could change the world for the better with his money, but instead, here's what I'm saying. Here's what I don't understand. This is the socialist nature of everybody. Everyone's argument is like, he really should have fixed the world with the $44 billion. Well, maybe the people accepting the money should go fix the world with the $44 billion. Or maybe all of you who complain that the world is imperfect should go chip in and spend your money to fix the world. Why is it his responsibility to give the money that it's his to spend it on anything other than what he wants? I just don't get that. If he hands them $44 billion, shouldn't they spend that? Who's responsible? Hillary Clinton is $100 millionaire. She has like $900 million. Why doesn't she spend that money on saving the fucking world? Why doesn't Bezos? He doesn't pay any taxes. Elon Musk pays taxes. Bezos, who owns Amazon, doesn't pay any taxes. Why doesn't he give his billions to save the world?
I'll take some of his billions towards that cause. You're talking about compelled use of someone else's resources. I think on a certain level, and I think you're going to be surprised by my answer. I think on a certain level, most people believe that people should be compelled to do one thing or another. Like, let's just reverse engineer it. If Elon was doing anything but bringing free speech to Twitter and he was buying it for any other reason, would you on the other side of the table say you should be bringing free speech back to Twitter?
I would say that it's anyone. It's they have to do what they want to do,
right?
Because that's what a free market is about.
Okay,
and it's no one's job to do that. Here's what it is: he announced that he was going to do it, and I was like, yes, this should be fun. This is going to be a fun app now. Can't wait to see the loose shit people post.
Here's the thing: I don't know what part of Twitter you're hanging out with. I spend most of my time in Black Twitter, and people say loose shit all day. What more looseness do you want? Are you talking about contrarian political beliefs? I mean, ISIS is still on Twitter. They're repping over there. You know what I'm saying? So who's restricted, would you say?
Oh, well, I mean, so obviously the conservatives, but like the wacky conservatives are really
you want Alex Jones back on Twitter. That's what
to be honest, I do want Trump and Alex Jones back just because they bring the drama. and what I'm saying, a tweet, here's the point. Here's the problem. If people are like worried that Twitter and their comments or whatever are influencing people, that's pathetic. Not that they believe that, but if anyone could be influenced. Right. Twitter is literally people just taking their garbage ideas and blurting them out to the world. So you shouldn't be influenced by that. I do love watching the spectacle of people saying loose shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's amazing, and this is why I love you, man, because your reasoning sometimes borderlines on the altruistic, and then you're like, but it's really about drama. To be able to entertain me, dance monkeys, dance.
I mean, that's what the internet is here for, right?
I think it serves a deeper purpose, but I'm not opposed to that type of stuff. But I have a strict honor code when it comes to certain things. So there's certain things I don't want people saying on the internet, but I can't stop them. But I will refute. And this is why I feel the need to, and all jokes aside, to confront stupid shit that people say, right? Like, I'm going to allow you to say it. And then it's like, well, someone's got to say something, right? Like, I can't just let these fools be out here saying things. You gotta step up to the plate, man. If you disagree, tweet it. I dare you. I dare everyone in the chat right now to find the person you disagree with the most on the internet. Or the I dare you disagree with the most. And don't just at that person. Go find their group forum. Step into the fray. Do you know what I do when me and Mantis are done talking and I lie and say I go to sleep? He knows what I do. I jump on Facebook. I jump on Twitter. And I'm out there swinging them bows. Come on, swinging them bows, man.
I mean, basically... I want you to be able to say shit on your shows and your tweets.
I know you do. I want people to join me in the festivity of public discourse. I don't want people just saying things. I want them to interact. I want this thing to go to the next level, Mantis. Here's what I want, right? When you had that beef with the Disney guy, had you tapped me in on that, I would have gone full tilt. Like, oh, well, this is amazing. And just started chopping at their arguments. Like, why do you get to censor my buddy? Why do you get to shadow ban my buddy? Why does YouTuber X get to say any plethora of things and believe that she should be able to not have a negative comment come her way?
Right.
Well, she single-handedly, by my count, made 6 videos about Jessica Chastain completely in a stalker psychopathic manner. Where's the consistency?
Yeah, trying to destroy this woman. She's definitely trying to damage her brand.
Exactly.
That could be liable. Someone could sue.
Oh, if you can so we had this conversation before about these defamation cases with public figures. The one thing you have to prove in a suit was that it was done with malice.
But her obsession seems like it's malicious.
I wouldn't disagree with you.
But what I'm saying is, you're naming some very good people that point out that why I want their days on Twitter to be ruined. I want them to go, oh no, the TERFs are back on Twitter. I want her to say, oh no, my haters are back on Twitter.
Hold on for a second. I want to address this one from my good friend RM. RM, actually, it's funny you say that because today I was having a great old time in Facebook, and I was.
I love that comment.
I actually spent a good majority of time doing this. I pulled the Ben Shapiro. I'm like, hey, can you give me that comment in context? And they're like, what are you talking about? You woman hater. I'm like, no, I want you to play the first 5 minutes prior to the comment and the 5 minutes afterwards. And I want to see if it still remains the way that it is. And it's just, it's just the way to shake the beehive. Every once in a while, I just go into a Beyonce room and I'm like, Beyonce sucks. Prove me wrong.
Holy what?
Yeah,
I'm surprised they haven't hunted you down like a dog yet.
Here's the reality though, Mantis. None of these asthma pump using fake keyboard thug motherfuckers are gonna do shit when they see me in the street.
What up, Max? Welcome in.
They're not gonna do a damn thing. Yo, I want one day for some little kid to be like, hey, you're that guy from the internet. I'm like, thank you for subscribing. Now take this ass whooping. Like, because if you cross this line, I'm definitely laying you down.
And so I saw in the other day Quartering claims he's been confronted by haters who found him where he lives and have physically come after him, and he's dealt with them. Yeah, right.
Okay, so here's a good thing. Laney asked Steve, you asking to get murdered? Laney, I grew up in the hood. I'm not scared of internet punks. I'm not like they don't do it for me. I will tell you though, you know who I'm very careful with? Whenever I get into beef with the Hebrew Israelites, because they're like, I'm like, all right, we occupy some of the same space. I guess we're just gonna have to get them up when we see each other. But it's internet weirdos, man. They're not going to do anything. Shout out to David Wood, though. I told you about this guy once, right? So he was in a debate with a person who claimed to be a jihadi, right? And the guy said some horrible things about David Wood's family. He has 4 children that suffer from very debilitating handicaps. And this guy's like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, made some very vicious statements about his wife and some claims as to what he was going to do. And he was like, I dare you to come to 42nd Street the next day. This is why I respect this man. You know what the next video was? It was David Wood on 42nd Street waiting for the guy. And he was like, and this is what I'm talking about. They ain't gonna do nothing.
Yes. No, I feel you on that. No, you're right. They're not. Most 99% of the time they're not. Which is also why I don't believe Quartering's claim. I bet most of the people who hate him the most and give him death threats are never going to come to wherever fuck. He lives in farmland somewhere. I don't know where the fuck he lives.
If the Quartering ever got pressed by anyone, I would assume it's like that episode from Bob's Burger where Slowhand, aka Dr. Yap, went to the frat house and like he got attacked by the
he's accosted me. The person put like their finger on him. He's like, he accosted me. Well, it says people interact a lot on places like Twitter. The problem is that we're all interacting too much. We don't all have to have an opinion on every single thing and go to bat for every single opinion that we have. Let's take a chill pill, yeah. So I do actually. I'm notorious public, right. Like Steve had pointed out, that I'm about like someone will say something and I'll have a smart ass comment and I'll write it and go, you know what, I'm not gonna send it. There's no reason to fight this person on Twitter, and then I delete it. I do that like 10 times a day.
Yeah, nah. I mean, so here's the thing, man. On certain things, like if you have an opinion about chocolate cake or something like that, I don't need to tap in on that. But when it's a social issue, like a real pressing social issue, and you say something online, you state it as a fact, I'm always going to start with the question first. I'm going to be like, can you prove that?
Yeah, right.
Can you prove that? Can you prove it?
That's the perfect way to start a Twitter fight.
I'm like, can you prove that? Like, can you prove it?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example of something I didn't retweet on Twitter today.
Oh boy.
So some girl has 2 maps, and she goes proposed border wall, and it has Mexico lined off.
Yeah.
And then she goes, the border wall we need. And it has Mexico and California fenced off.
Oh!
And I was about to retweet it. However, what made me think is I was like, well, then people will think that I'm pro border wall. But really, I want to just take a jab at California.
See?
And so I didn't retweet it. But really, to me, it's a harmless joke. I'm just fucking around. I don't believe in border walls and shit.
See, but
people will take it the wrong way, though.
But see, that's the thing I don't do. I don't throw out jokes, right? I don't throw out jokes. I say what I say and I say it with my chest. I'm not going to say, oh, that was a joke. Like, now the thing about joking about colorful issues like that, you got to be willing to deal with what comes next, right? I actually am not a border world guy. You know my views on immigration. I think there's a more humane way to handle these things. I definitely think that we need to take a look at the disparity in between in which like I had some power back in the day in which Europeans are allowed to migrate here during conflict versus people of color. I think there's a disparity there that needs to be looked at. So, but I get the colorful joke that you were trying to make because it's funny that a lot of people who live in California who have Californian ideals all flock to Texas now. And they all got highly offended when someone who lived in Texas said, hey, when you come here, you're more than welcome. Just don't do the same things that make California
don't bring your liberal shenanigans.
It's all in how the discourse. I think you got to have the conversation, bro.
And so I'm more lighthearted on the thing. Like for instance, I actually I have to say the reason why Trump doesn't threaten me so much is I take 99% of his things as jokes. I'm like, he's an angry old man making a joke. Most people take him so seriously.
Well, can I ask you a question about this? Because we've never talked about this before. Do you think, what about the argument that since he is the quote unquote was the leader of the free world, that he is held to a higher standard and the words he say have weight and can cause, strife?
So I would actually say it came to fruition that he was overwhelmingly voted out because of the loose shit he was saying. Okay. Because I don't even think he was mismanaging running America. I just think he was a fucking asshole. And I think that's why that's what people can't deal with. People would get triggered by his tweets more than any policy he's doing. Not that he didn't have, all presidents have bad policies and good policies, right? I don't think he was doing a horrible job, but I think people overwhelmingly voted because they were like, I do not like this fucking asshole and the things he says every day.
I mean, so the interesting thing about it, man, I think I texted you this when I was in California. When I was making more money than I'm making now, I was surprised when I went to go do my taxes that year, and my tax guy was like, "Hey, man, I want you to know you're gonna." Oh, fat cat, we love you. I was surprised when my tax guy was like, "Hey, you're gonna benefit from this new Trump tax break." I want to say that I felt guilty, but I didn't, because I was just thinking about my family in that instance. And I was like, we could actually use this money. So I won't lie, there were some policies he enacted that impacted my family quite well. And my wife hates Trump. Until I told her that, and she was like, oh, well.
That you made excuses as to why it really wasn't him, and it's really Obama who's doing this. And right? I love that. They're like, yeah, well, the economy's good. That must have been Obama. Like what?
Right. Last thoughts on free speech and Daddy Long. I'll let you have the last word here, man.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you got it.
I think you guys should embrace the experimentation that is free speech. If it ever comes to fruition, do it, but don't do it to troll. Do it to be real. Be real. Pitch something that is real. You know what I'm saying? Your real heart of hearts. You know what I'm saying? And it could be absolutely anything. Maybe there's a political idea that you're worried to talk about. Maybe you're a secret turf. Maybe you're, I don't even know. Maybe you love world star hip hop. Maybe you want a border wall around California. Let it out.
Bro, I heard I read an interesting tweet in regards to turfs, and they were deemed by a person the only women, quote unquote, who are not allowed to share their truth.
See, this is one of the problems.
I've never seen a thread pop off the way that did, and I was just like, I'm just reading, and it was just like, man, it was a crazy thread.
And so I'll give you an example. That I would actually say that one of the most discriminated against groups on Twitter is the turf. And so, like, I'll give you an example. Like, whatever you feel about J.K. Rowling, even if you don't agree with like what she said, she said something, and some guy, I think it was Vosh or something, this YouTuber troll guy, was telling her to shut the hell up. He's just like, you're not a real woman. Shut the fuck up. No, blah, blah, blah. And all this shit like that. Like, truly, like, savage shit.
Oof. Okay.
And of course he's not punished because she's a TERF.
Right.
Only reason she's still allowed on Twitter, she has money. You can say whatever you want on Twitter if you're a billionaire, or not even billionaire, if you have a lot of money.
What's that young liberal commentator's name? He does a lot of Twitch streams. I want to say it's Hannibal or something. Young guy, glasses. It's interesting. Is
it Hassan Piker?
Yes, why do I call him Hannibal?
Yeah, no, I know he has a weird name. So
off Twitter for calling someone use a racially derogatory term against white people, and he got kicked. So at least some companies are attempting to be consistent in that regard. Let's jump out of here, man. What do you want to move on to next?
Well, we could get into entertainment, and so I really want to close out with this because this might take up the whole thing.
Wrap it up. Put a bow on it.
Well, I mean, this will take a while for us to talk about it. So I have a theory right now.
What's theory? Okay, go ahead.
So good reviews are coming in for Top Gun 2, Stranger Things, the Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie.
Okay.
People are excited to see movies like Mission Impossible 7. Like I said, like they pretend they were fans the whole time. And trust me, that movie franchise has done all right. It has never broken $1 billion. It's never been one of those hits. You know what I mean?
Really?
And yet they're acting like it's going to be. And so I have a theory. And you see how many haters came out for Doctor Strange? Suddenly, people who used to love Marvel movies it's now trendy to hate them.
Yes.
I believe that the superhero bubble is bursting. It went from the Big Bang. Now it's starting the Big Crunch.
I'm going to say something that's going to anger you a little bit. YouTuber X had a great take on this the other day on one of her shows. Grace Randolph, for the love of God, had a great take on one of her shows.
You're about to send me into a rage.
It was interesting that she said that that Marvel was kind of getting beat up on when they actually carried the industry and kept the industry alive for so long, and now it is cool to trash them. I just don't subjectively think that Doctor Strange is a horrible movie, right? I don't see it, but a lot of people are saying this, and maybe the bubble is finally bursting. Maybe the great prophet Campia called it right. The fatigue is finally setting in, and it's just going to be the hardcores. But here's the interesting thing. You answer this question for me, because I honestly don't know. We've had this conversation multiple times. Are the hardcores running away? And families are still going out to see the casuals are still going to see the movie.
It's the diehards who are turning. It's the diehards who are turning. Like, for instance, I'll tell you, like, I'm such a certain purist about certain things. The fact of what they did to Hawkeye, as I constantly keep raving, it makes me not want to watch Avengers movies. I do anyway.
Okay.
But here's what I'm saying. A lesser man than me is going to take that small thing that he's not wearing a cowl and blow it into a big thing and be like, I will never give them $1.
Right.
And so it's these diehards, these fanatics who are leaving. And you're right. It's the mom and dads who are just like, I just want my kids to see an action movie and have fun. I want to go to an action movie where like there isn't brutal violence. There's violence, but not brutal violence. And there's not much cursing, and there's jokes, and we can all laugh.
All right. Secondary question for the chat and for Mantis. If the family metric is greater than the diehard metric, does Marvel care?
Well, I think they need both to make their big monies. The bad thing is that if one side bails, they're not going to be making their $1 billion, and they're going to start lowering the money they give out to make these movies. They're not going to be doing $250 million. And so that's the problem. We will get lower budget superhero movies. Now, that might be a good thing, because sometimes I think they misuse their budget.
Okay.
An example is CGI characters for no reason, or, big budget, crazy special effects endings when we didn't need that.
Okay.
Like, I think, like I've said again a million times, Shang-Chi would have been better. I don't care that if a dragon appears, but instead of all the dragons and the fighting, it would have just been better if it was settled over a martial arts fight between Shang-Chi and his father. Because the first 2/3 of the movie is a personal family relationship where it's about a man who's having trouble with his father. And that should have just been that. They should have had just a kick-ass fight scene.
Right.
Matrix style fight scene.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have been mad at that.
That would have been great.
Here's the thing, man. I think the machine will continue on. They're definitely taking a dip, right? A lot of people had but again, it's hard for me to divorce myself from the fact that the expectation that people place on these movies, the fan theory, the fan crafting, the predictions don't play a huge part in it. In fact, we're culpable in this as well. All the content creators leading the charge on fake leaks, reporting on bum news, and presenting bum scripts play a part in why people walk into theaters thinking they're going to see something else versus what actually happens.
So I am guilty, but I'm lesser guilty than everyone else. So
if you ever get busted with a bunch of friends, I want that to be your official defense.
I'm guilty, but just lesser guilty than these niggas over here. I'm going to use that word. I'm going to say that.
My guy, we're not on Clubhouse.
Yeah. What it is that I am a theorist, so I do theory craft about what could happen, definitely, and that definitely is part of it. But I am not a scooper. I don't claim to have any leaks or any guys inside. People are like, I had an insider tell me the Silver Surfer was going to show up, and then people believe it, and it doesn't happen.
Look at your girl, for instance, tripled down on the whole Mandalorian situation.
That was the most pathetic thing. That was very Trump. She was pulling a card out of Trump. When Trump is caught in a lie and he's just like, no, it's true.
Let me tell you why. True. I would be brutally honest with you, right? You know why I watch your review videos? And shout out, man, I really enjoyed the last Star Trek one. I have not watched the show yet, but at this point, there's no need to watch the show because I'm watching your review. And you see how that works?
Yes. I've done that for a lot of things. There's things that I felt like I didn't need to see because I'm like, I just watched 10 reviews on them.
Bro, it's the same thing with like, I love the comic book reviewers, but have you ever thought for a second, I'm not giving credence to this, but you can watch the entire Secret Wars event, the comic book, all explained, right?
There are two channels that if you watch these two channels, you will never need to read an old comic again. And it's Comics Explained and it's Casually Comics with Sasha. Yeah. And if their whole point is they go, let me explain to you the death in the family story. And they just show the images and tell you everything that happened.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I don't need to read it anymore. You just saved me $25.
I'll say this, man. I enjoyed Doctor Strange. I'm gonna watch She-Hulk. I'm gonna watch all these things because for me, at the end of the day, this is it's media. And I think this is where I get lost in the conversation. Like I've been attached to these characters since we were reading them in comic books, and I just don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't freak out over a lot of things. There are a few things that will push me over the edge. Like obviously the X-Men movies, as you remember, pushed me as close to the edge as I can remember, but at a certain point, it only takes one more hit and everyone's back on their dick again.
Yeah, and so first I'm going to say, well, this is adorable. Pub says, I watch your videos, but I don't understand anything that's happening. And that's why I love and appreciate you so much, because you left a comment. I agree with everything in this video, and then you gave me a like, and I was like, I know you don't Star Trek, but thank you, I appreciate that.
Thanks for keeping me up in the algorithm.
Yeah, Kathy thinks we need more martial arts.
And Shang-Chi.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. Where were we?
Best fight scene in any Marvel movie is still between Cap and Winter Soldier.
Oh, you're saying in Winter Soldier?
Yeah, that is still the best knuckle hand-to-hand combat we've ever seen.
I feel like that ends Civil War. And when I say Civil War, I don't even mean the superhero fight. I think their fight in the beginning was amazing, and I think the fight against Iron Man at the end is amazing.
Oh yeah, they
where they're sharing the shield.
Yes.
And they're going back and forth. That is really good. Yes. And also, one of my favorite fight scenes in all of Marvel is the highway scene with the Black Panther.
Oh, when he's chasing them down. Yeah.
Yeah. When they're chasing Bucky, and then Black Panther comes out of the other, you're like, who the hell is this guy? And then like they're jumping from vehicle to vehicle, and they're on bikes, and they're just doing it was I love it.
Let me throw something in here, man. Our tryhards and diehards gatekeeping and influencing the narrative, which might impact the way casuals see these movies.
Absolutely. We need to stop the gatekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
I am guilty of and you know what's funny? I'm guilty of gatekeeping more for something like Star Wars or Star Trek than I am with Marvel.
Okay.
I think at this point I've accepted that posers are going to watch Marvel, so I just go with it.
Even that term, it's like poser.
I'll be like, whatever. He's a poser. That's his truth.
Exactly.
That's his subjective truth.
Exactly.
But like, basically there is like, within Star Trek or Star Wars, there's certain things that if you like certain things, I'm like, you're not a real fan. Like, anyone who's like, yo, I love Boba Fett or even liked it, I'm like, you're not a real fan.
You know what you just did there, Mantis? You completely justify me in the way I feel about hip hop. I gatekeep the hell out of hip hop.
And I criticized you for that. That's what I've been doing. I've been criticizing you for that very thing. Yeah. I'm like, oh, stop hating on him. He's not a biter. Everything's a bite. Wow. And no, this doesn't mean I'm wrong. This does not mean I'm wrong. Freddie, you knuckleheads in the chat who are going to say something. It just means I need to reevaluate and think a little.
Think harder, think deeper. We could be heading towards superhero fatigue. But here's the thing for me, man. My personal journey with this content won't be changed by the fact that a few angry nerds or even a bunch of angry nerds aren't happy with the source material, because I'm unhappy about some of those things. I'm looking forward to the end. I've told you this before, man. We've talked about this. Last movie to be made, Avengers Forever. I want them to wrap this whole thing, right? They need to be thinking that way. How does this conclude? I think every good storyboard session starts with beginning, middle, end. How do we branch out? But how are we going to land this thing? How are we going to land it? I think Star Wars has shown us that you cannot prolong the end. Some stories are not meant to be told in movie form for the remainder of our days, man. It does need to come to an end. And I would love for it to end with a real representation of the incursions. I would love for it to circle back. Give us the X-Men. Do everything.
To be honest, I wouldn't. You're gonna. Maybe you won't hate me for this. I think it might be all right if they end the entire MCU without introducing the mutants. Maybe they've had a good run and they don't need mutants.
No, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you, bro. I'm not. And I think that sometimes that's what Kevin Feige is thinking. You and I have talked about this, man. Logan, that I think that was the way that universe should have ended.
And here's the kind of thing. I love Doctor Strange. Don't get me wrong. I love everything about it. But the thing that I don't like about it is that Patrick Stewart, when asked to come back to play him in some other situation, he was like, no, I'm going to hang it up. I think this is a good way for the character to die.
Yeah.
This is a good way to wrap up the X-Men. And then he comes back for Doctor Strange. I understand he's playing a doppelganger, like not the real Professor X. But I just kind of
I want to speak to that for a second. I think Patrick Stewart is a true appreciator of his fans. Any guy that can go from he's a real thespian, right? And he did American Dad and still does American Dad for years. He's well versed in nerd culture. And I'm almost positive that he came back for the check and because he knows that it would make the fans happy.
Right. I think he loves having fans and all these things. The fact that he played both Professor X and Captain Picard of Star Trek.
Winning. There's no one else winning like Patrick Stewart. Can you name an actor besides Adrian? What's the guy's name that played Angel?
David Boreanaz.
Winning. That dude has been winning for decades. He has been on multiple shows that have been 10 seasons or more longer. Winning.
And, to be honest, I love him, but they're not even great shows.
No,
he was on Castle, and now he's SEAL Team or something. Like who?
Holmes, Angel, Buffy. Like there should
be in the beginning. If you were to look at all of them, put them all together, the Angel and Buffy crew, and they'd be like, which one of these guys are going to succeed? He would not be the one I pick.
Bro, David Boreanaz, man. Same Patrick Stewart winning, man. Star Trek Next Generation.
And you know what? They have good attitudes.
Oh, yeah. He's a great guy. He's like Keanu level great, apparently. And again, Keanu, man, winning, bro.
They're positive people who are good to their fans, and they're not,
Come on, man. Hugh Jackman survived the first two Wolverine movies, the first two standalone Wolverine movies.
Yeah. When we finally make Mantis merch 2 of the phases, we'll sell I'm reading this wrong.
When we finally make Mantis merch, 2 of the phrases we'll sell will be, "This might get me canceled, but," and here's my
Here's some other F thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The way they landed will be important, and I think that I think Feige thinks about the disdain that people have for the Fox universe, and I think it's easy for Patrick Stewart to say, "No, this is a great way to end it," when you've been doing shit for like years, right? You know, when you've been forced to do shit for years. So,
yeah, no, I think. Oh yes, it wasn't Castle. It was Bones. I'm sorry, it was Bones that he did. He didn't Castle. That's the guy from Firefly did.
Yeah,
Castle.
the other guy who's still surviving, hanging on, man.
Yeah, he's so
winning.
Winning. Just have a good attitude and keep your head down.
There's only one other person that has won so much in his life that it's absolutely amazing. But it is an interesting case study. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Have you ever heard Bill Burns' monologue? He's like, "You try coming to another country, not being able to speak the language correctly, getting famous for winning weightlifting competition, and then somehow getting into acting, marrying into that country's version of royalty, and then making hit after hit for years."
Even though he had an affair and had another kid with like his cleaning lady, he is still not canceled.
No, he revitalized.
He becomes a governor.
This Twitters on this tweets on Trump. It's amazing.
Did you see his message to the Russian troops?
No, what was the message?
Like I teared up. So check this out. He made a video and he like put it on the internet. And he's like, "This is for all the Russian troops," and he was telling them all to back down and not hurt the Ukrainians. And then he says, "And I want to tell you a story." And he tells a story about a Nazi. A proud Austrian man who fought for, because he was like, "I thought I'm doing right for my country," and he fought for his country, and then he killed a bunch of people, did all this stuff, and then later on at the end of the war, he for the rest of his life felt guilt and horror and shame and trauma for the things that he did because he was taking orders, and that man was his father.
Yeah, people have brought that up many times.
When he said that, I didn't know any of that, and I was just listening to it on the tape, and I just got teary-eyed, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Yeah. And like, I just hope, and he's like basically telling like Russian soldiers not to pull the trigger. He's like, "It's your choice if you want to hurt these people." It was so compassionate and so loving, and I think I know Arnold's a cheater, but I think deep down inside he's like a good guy.
Okay, you almost set me up there. I almost went there. Does one act define you as a person for the rest of your life? And I'm so tired of having that argument with people and watching them be inconsistent in it that I don't even touch it anymore, man.
I agree with you. I don't think one thing should hold.
Well, I mean, certain things will define you, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh my god, bro! I can't believe we didn't bring this up as a topic. Did you hear? I think the last name is Simone's. Did you hear the woman, black content creator, used to be on Wild 'N Out, completely publicly diss Martin Luther King?
What?
I was surprised you didn't call me frothing at the mouth, because I know this is a subject you hate.
I have not even. Did you see in my Discord? I put up a picture of my starship. I'm starting to play Star Trek Online. You can name your starship whatever it is. Do you know what I named it?
Martin Luther King.
Yeah, the USS King Jr. Yes, I could name it any idiotic thing, and I named it after Martin Luther King.
Yes. This woman, she went in on King, man. She if you want, we could play it. We can play the snippet.
Please, let's do this.
You entertain the people while I go look for this, please.
Absolutely. Hello, people. How are we? Let's check this chat right now. Patrick Stewart rescues pit bulls. He's a G. And Gray also says, "I hate cheaters, but if they're not cheating on me, I'm not going to dismiss them totally. The only people who should decide that is the one who is hurt." Absolutely. And so it's true. He hurt a lot of people. He hurt his wife. He actually hurt his cleaning lady. He hurt his son. He hurt all his kids, right? Because he's already got a bunch of kids. And then he has this little weightlifting kid. This kid who's a clone, like clearly a little clone of him. Like the kid looks crazy like him. The fact that Schwarzenegger's wife, I guess I'm sure they kept her away from Schwarzenegger's wife, because if she didn't see the kid immediately and go, "Wait a minute, that's crazy." So he hurt a lot of people, but he is known to do like things like he does these videos all the time. Like, for instance, he did one to Donald Trump, And he was like, Donald Trump, I'm asking you as a Republican to please not discriminate against people. And like, he's just, I don't know, man. Oh, wait. Am I allowed to manipulate brand stuff?
Should be able to, but I think it's because I haven't played the video yet. Let me just put it back.
Right. The video has to come up for it to happen.
All right. I'm going to share it and we'll do it right now. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah. But I think ultimately he's a good dude. Yeah, I wouldn't dismiss anyone completely for cheating.
All right. So her name is B. Simone. And I think this is just her. I'm trying not to share any other content created, but let's check it out.
The fact that Martin Luther King is the man that fought for freedom, or the fact that he was cheating on his wife?
Jesus. I'm going to give you this example. He's a great father, great businessman. He's a great CEO. He's an entrepreneur. He's such a boss. He's a boss. Look at that man. He's a boss. He's a great father. Look at him. A strong black man.
Look at him being at his kid's game.
But you're cheating on your wife. You're not a good husband. But he's great in all these other aspects. Not a good dad because you don't respect me. How the fuck you show me he's a good father and you don't respect their mother? You're not a great dad, my nigga. You're open.
Hey everybody, watching Billie Jean, so gorgeous.
Okay. Where do I start with this bitch? Okay. So here's what it is. This is the fucking problem. We're in the age where we tear down everyone. Here's what it is. You guys don't realize this. I'm going to say it. I'm going to sound like a lunatic and we're going to lose all our fans right now, but I know public loves that. Here's what it is. Cancel culture, and I don't mean just canceling. There's a double meaning to cancel culture. So it actually stems originally from counterculture, which is what the hippies called their movement. And what the concept is, it's true, we're canceling individuals, but there is another meaning to it, and it is literally canceling culture. They want to tear down everything. They want to tear down our concepts of gender and sexuality. They want to tear down what is right and wrong. They want to tear down what hierarchy or business is. Economics, they want to make it socialist by taking the capitalist system and toppling it on its head. They want to tear down our statues and destroy all our great people. And I'm not disputing that Martin Luther King was not a womanizer. He was a womanizer. He actually had more than one family, or at least he had side chicks with kids. So that is not a cool thing. I get it. I absolutely get it. But by using that as the vehicle to tear down all the good that he's done and all the messaging that he's done is a complete bastardization of what canceling people was meant to do. Destroying a hero just for the sake of destroying a hero because they slipped up once is not the thing. Now, I understand if we found out that he was really working for the CIA and he's like, I'm going to sell drugs to my community, then cancel his ass because he's a hypocrite.
Right.
But it's true. He had the failing that men, like a lot of men have this failing. This is the vice that a lot of guys fall for. You feel powerful and energetic and you feel egotistical and you think you can womanize. It is a horrible trap that the devil puts us in that. I'm not justifying it. It's not cool. Yeah, but that is not the soul make of a man.
So here's the thing. We're going to be like, so I've had critiques of King for many years, mostly because I felt like he was the civil rights leader that all my teachers wanted me to represent. And I was just like, well, why can't I talk about Malcolm X? Why can't I talk about Malcolm? Why do I have to write? Why are you forcing me to write a paper on King? I understand who he is, but why can't we talk about the other people who were involved in the civil rights movement? Why can't we talk about the guy who actually, according to the feds, never did any of those things with women because his message was more controversial, because he was saying if someone tries to loot you, someone tries to harass you or lynch you, you should definitely put them in the dirt. What this video does, though, I think is extremely dangerous, because you're tearing this man down for what exactly? Like, what's the goal? Like, yeah, represent history altogether. She goes on to say in the video that doesn't make you a great man because you've done all these things. It just makes you an okay human being. So it's interesting.
Here's what it is, and here's what I think people don't understand. Well, first I got to criticize her on the idea that.
Who's typing for me? Did you type BiPubs in the chat?
No, I did. Why does
Okay,
it
yeah,
say
because
you?
it came up as me. I'm like, I saw that happen before. I'm like, the Russians have hacked me. It says
No, I just wrote. I don't know why it says
the
you.
Hold Up TV, but
That's
you wrote
so
my
weird.
It's
Sorry,
okay.
I didn't mean to type on your behalf.
No,
I take it back, Pubs. Not goodbye. Fuck you. Have a bad night.
It just freaked me out, bro.
Well, what I'm saying is the idea. I mean, what the fuck is the idea where we're tearing down these people, and so what are young black men and women supposed to look toward? What it is when as you tear each one of them down, you're tearing down because you're not replacing with anything. Should they look up to her, whoever the fuck she is? Bitch, you haven't done shit. What have you done for the community other than bitch and moan and use your platform to be a bitch?
Yo, so it was met with the type of response because this is not secret stuff. Obviously, the movie Selma dealt with a huge portion of this. I've told you guys 100 times that the song that is Killing Me Softly, that most people think that Lauryn Hill wrote. I don't know how that happens. The original singer of the song was actually singing that song. She covered it. Yeah, she was singing that song about Martin Luther King. Everyone is well versed in his infidelities. Here's the thing, right? His wife forgave him. His wife forgave him.
I mean, ultimately, it is between them. It's not us. It's not exactly for us to judge. It is between them because it's their relationship.
Yeah.
I can say to myself, I don't want to fall for that mistake. I don't want to do that thing. That's like a different thing. But and another thing that they understand, she says it makes him just an all right guy. Here's what it is. All the things don't add up together to give you one total of what you are. We have different platforms. In the realm of fidelity, the motherfucker fails.
Yeah.
But in all these other categories of integrity, he's better than most motherfuckers. Right?
So this was met with the type of online backlash that you would think. I mean, we had grandmothers who marched in the civil rights movement coming out to say things. Man, I was surprised this didn't drop on your radar. I was waiting for you to text me about this, and
I didn't know about this shit.
Yeah,
I mean, I obviously knew about him, but I didn't know about her. What she said.
Yeah. It's crazy shit on the internet.
And so my mother. My mother is Haitian, raised in France.
Yes.
And so my mother is very forgiving of Dr. King. She actually says, she's like, that's what happens when a man has power. The women throw themselves at you, and what can you do? And I was like, damn, I hope I get a wife like that. That's a joke, people. That is a joke. No. What I really pray and hope for is that I don't fall for that devil trap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But so my mother and my mother marched, and my mother was all about it and stuff.
Did she march? I didn't know that. Shout out to
my mother was a huge hippie, bro.
Yeah, nice.
So my mother, when she went to France, she was not raised by nuns, but she went to a school where nuns like beat her and shit. She was like super religious, super strict. The moment she got out, she came to America, became a Buddhist, a flower child, was marching and shit, doing all sorts of crazy shit. And so, but that's why I know what you guys are saying. You're like, don't you hate hippies? Yeah, I do. I do hate hippies, but I love my mother. It's complicated. It's all just like Martin Luther King. Mm-hmm. It's complicated.
Very complicated.
No, but my mother was a serious flower child. When
that part I knew, man. Whenever someone has a surviving a family member that's a surviving member of the civil rights movement, I always want to just drop flowers in front of their feet. Like,
right.
It's.
I mean, she was during the later part of it. She wasn't obviously during the big hits, but
no. But here's the thing, man. Like, I'm not into ancestor worship, but I believe in respecting elders, right? I believe in respecting our elders within our community, and they should be cherished and treated with a certain level of dignity, especially those people, because they actually put something on the line. They were facing a real antagonist, right? And there was threat of death just to show up. And that's why I always give the white folks their flowers too that showed up to those marches, because they were also facing, if you think about the type of racism they were facing then, that tangible, you could die.
Yeah.
Come into this rally, get your wig split.
Right.
Like,
and at the end of the day, like they're gonna, the cops are gonna be like, well, what were they doing hanging out with those N-words?
Yeah. I give them all their flowers, man. some people, we know who they refer to as the greatest generation. You folks that did your thing from 1960 to 1979, you got all my respect. And this is interesting with this woman, because I don't know how much of this is shock jock. Kathy said we need to remember that the very people we see online may indeed do good or bad for their communities, but we only see what they allow us to see. And that's a true assessment. I think what Mantis was saying is that there is no proof that this woman has volunteered that she has had anywhere near the cultural impact for our people that this man has had.
Right.
It's like, again, I'm not talking about revising history. I want to stay consistent. I'm not, we can't forgive it. We can't scrub it. But I thought it was interesting that she went off and like decided to do this. Now, here's the next thing I'm waiting for. If she starts screaming victim, because people are getting at her, obviously, right? People are coming at her. If she starts screaming victim over people coming back at her, then, it shows us her true colors. You said,
well, she obviously did it to get clicks.
Yeah, it worked. It worked.
That's all about going viral.
Yeah.
Pub says it seems like cancel culture is a go-to thing to yell out when it's not the kind of free speech and so that you like. And so that's I would not agree. I think this is definitely cancel culture. This is what it is everyone is trying to get canceling someone. She's trying to cancel someone from generations ago who did great things for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is cancel culture because you get clout for shouting other people out. It's the same phenomenon. And it might not have the same dynamics because he's not on Twitter or not on social media nowadays, but it's the same type of thing. It's the same thing when someone gets on a soapbox and they're like, and by the way, George Washington's a bad person because he owned slaves. You're trying to rip somebody down for points. It's part of the cancel culture shit. Absolutely.
Well, you're talking about damaging legacy, but I just want you to know, fuck you, George Washington. On behalf of the ancestors, fuck you.
Here's what I'm saying. People are what they are. And I've never been under any delusion that our founding fathers were a bunch of rich white guys who didn't want to pay their taxes to the Queen. Right? And so I have no illusions of them when people are like, yo, they were not as good. I'm like, of course they weren't good. They were crooks. They were
it's funny because I think we started before. I was like, man, slow week in news. And then I was that popped in my mind. I'm sure we'll get into that on Dope Dynamics, man. What did Gray say? Oh God, my son is
Gray. Thank you so much. Gray loves Better Call Saul. More than
Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you. We appreciate you.
I'm sorry you were reading that. I didn't realize you were reading that aloud.
Thank you so much, Greg.
Yeah, thank you. So public doubles down and saying this is free speech, though. Yes, I agree with free speech. However, I'm allowed to disagree with the thing being said. Right? I will fight for this chick Simone's right to say what she wants to say. I just think she's a bitch. Can quote me on that one. Because what I'm saying is I go easy on all sorts of fucking people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
No,
I'm not going to go down the list of people I could cancel. By the way, boom, 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 boom. Drop the mic.
When you're saying cancel culture, you're talking about in regards to damaging the legacy or
the legacy. Yes, they don't have him to attack right now, so they're attacking his legacy. It's the same thing as attacking somebody's their current social clout.
Yeah,
which is what standard cancel culture is. It's the same. It's on the same energy that everyone's attacking. They're trying to attack someone, a bigger fish, and destroy their reputation.
Beck says it's just not a good look. We as a community already look messy AF. Like, sis, no. What the F are you doing? Oh, shots fired.
Yes. That is so true. That is absolutely so true.
I agree with that. It's like you got to make your outside voice your inside voice, but you're allowed to say whatever you want to say. Just remember that you then cannot say I'm trying to represent my community accordingly, and so now the community gets to judge you by this.
Tear down people from your own community who have uplifted people.
Here's the thing, right? You got smoke for Candace Owens, then you got smoke for this woman. If you got smoke for Candace Owens, you got to have smoke for young Simone.
So there is a difference between pointing out that public behind having righteous fury, and if we want to play it again, you saw her language. It was harsh, over the top. It has the same hyper righteous beats that cancel culture has. And they go, and another thing, this motherfucker did blah 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 blah. To freaking make it look, it's standing on a soapbox and being righteous about somebody. To destroy their reputation, that is cancel culture to a T.
Let's jump off. I will say this, man. When she starts crying, actually, I don't know if the rest of that video was her apologizing. I needed to go check that out because she got tore up.
She's already dead in my eyes. I'm gonna go vandalize her house. Frozen eggs. I'm throwing frozen eggs.
Have you ever pegged someone with a frozen egg before?
No comment.
Oh, I mean, statute of limitations, man. It's not assault. It's like, well,
yeah, no. In Halloween.
Got him. Get the cops over.
Someone's gonna come out and be like, "Yo, and this nigga said this."
Yo, I know we only got like 10 minutes left, but we got to talk about this. I don't know why this is emergency news, but Yahoo was covering it. They talked about it on most of the mainstream medias, their online outlets. Doja Cat
tonsils. Okay, boom.
Doja Cat had to have emergency tonsil surgery. She's claiming, or she states, that it is from vaping, and she had to cancel all her tours for the summer and the tour she was about to go on with the Weeknd.
Wait, real quick. I gotta feel this super quick. Okay, so I just don't understand how this doesn't fall under the umbrella of things you protect, since you love free speech. I love her right to say it. And I do not. If someone's goal, like, way of dealing with this was, well, let's censor her, I would say, fuck that. Let that bitch speak. I don't like what she's saying, but let her think. I don't love all free speech. Obviously, like, if a neo-Nazi is like, down with the black man, I'm not gonna be like, well, at least it's free speech. Fuck that. I'm like against what they say, but they have the right to say it. And so she has the right to say it, but I don't have to.
Are you saying that bad ideas should be refuted publicly?
This motherfucker. Damn it. I'm gonna say yes.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's not a question.
Did I just screw myself, guys, by agreeing with
allow them to say it and then refute it. But poor Doja Cat can't say anything right now. Mantis, you are a huge Doja Cat fan. You enjoy her music. I enjoy Doja Cat's music. I'm going to say something that I don't think is that controversial. I don't like when people put her in the realm of hip hop. I believe she's an amazing pop singer. I believe she's an amazing entertainer.
Well said.
I don't think she's the greatest vocalist, but she is extremely talented. If she has anything to do with the visuals in her videos, like anything to do with that creative concept, I have a lot of respect. A lot of her videos remind me of like faster paced Bjork videos, man. But her tonsils, they're damaged. They're from vaping. And okay, so the trolls are coming out. The trolls got things to say. Some people say this is karma. I don't believe in karma, but a lot of people are saying this is karma for comments she's made about, certain groups of people. And you're probably wondering why I'm being careful right now.
Why are you being so careful?
I'm trying to be careful. I'm trying to be political.
Did she say something that I don't know about? Because, like, what?
Well, it depends. It depends on how you take this. Are you familiar with her song? N-Words Ain't Shit.
If I heard the tune, I listen to her a lot. So.
Okay. I'll send you the link, right? So the song in itself, why is that different than No Scrubs? In my mind, it isn't different until someone provided context that Doja Cat has been accused of race playing and using terms that alt-right Nazis use. So a lot of people aren't feeling the sympathy for her when she.
So here's the thing. I know that I've already made 15 arguments easy this episode alone about subjective truth. And I listen to her.
Right.
That bitch is fake. and also as a mulatto.
Yeah.
But a multi-racial, whatever the fuck
right.
white liberals call it.
I got you. Man.
I should have her back, but here's what I'm saying. She has tried to create an image where she does hip hop, where she's like, what is it? She's hip hop and she's kind of from the streets and she's like a badass. Homegirl's dad is a wealthy and famous South African actor, and her mother is a French Jewish artist, and one of those well-paid ones. So she is a pop act, period. She's a pop act that takes advantage of blacks.
Okay.
Here's what it is. She's a pop act that's exploiting the black community.
So she's race playing. You would lean towards the side where she's race playing.
Yes.
So that's why people are coming at her hard, right? Now I'll say this, man. I don't wish ill on her, right?
No, I don't. I listen to her shit. She has some catchy beats, man.
Yeah, she has some dope shit. But yo, some people tore her ass
People tried to destroy her for a while. When I first got to know, the first time I ever even heard of her was because of her hanging out in like alt-right chat rooms that are like supposedly white supremacists.
Beck says, but who let her in the community though? That's on them if they feel funny. So this is the great debate, Bex. Who is the consumer of her music? I would say women.
I'm going against. Oh my god, I'm going against my own mulattoes, man. I gotta say this right here. In the new age, when they don't want, particularly in the female bracket, when they don't want to deal with black women, real black women, they get super light-skinned chicks. And they're like, look, she's black. And like, I looked at Doja, I was like, are you sure? Like, yeah. And like, I'm holding up my lily white skin up to hers to be like, really? Are you sure? And I understand I got a lot of white genes in me. I admit it.
Well, half.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I got the lighter skin. I didn't come out like a Barack Obama lucky fucker came out dark, right?
Oh.
So what I'm saying is Doja Cat is like, it's not just that she's light skinned, but I'm saying she was raised in wealth and status.
Bro, here's the thing about
it's colorism in Hollywood and in the music industry.
Well, but
they like these light-skinned bitches.
Hold on for a second, bro. But everyone takes advantage of it because if you don't think that there are women, and I say this with the utmost respect to my sisters, I mean this and I love you. If you don't think there are women who are riding the current trend of lifting up dark-skinned black women who are just using that but don't really care anything about that message, you're a fool not to believe that people aren't going to take advantage of that. Like
people take advantage of all angles of it. People take advantage of the colorism to gain advantage in the thing. Other people say, well, you know what? You need to protect this dark skin beauty. And they're playing off that game too.
Yeah, yeah.
The dark skin beauty is saying, what's up with colorism? In order to, everyone's got their own hustle.
Yeah, everyone's. Yo, here's the crazy thing. ABBA and Preach actually, Bex. Ooh, shots fired. Pandering at its finest. ABBA and Preach actually did a video before they've always been big, right? They're OGs on YouTube. They've been doing this commentary stuff for a while. Shout out to them. They have definitely been paving the way. Very consistent. They took they did a video about Doja and the whole race playing thing, and she actually responded to the video. And again, I'll link it in the description of this. Man, she jumped on that victim narrative. Like, these are two guys picking on me. But I'm like, yo, you're the same person. This is why I don't understand where the standards start falling away. You can't say N-words ain't ish and not expect people to treat you the way you're blowing smoke. You don't get to do that. You don't get to say, I pop guns and bottles. You know what I'm saying? I run around with the roughest. And when something happens to you, now you're a victim.
Yeah, and she's just not. And so, yeah, no, fuck that shit.
Now, ATM, do you believe it was ATM? Some people were questioning her hygiene. Apparently, Bex, you tap in here right now. Apparently, there was some pictures of her that came out on IG when she wasn't looking her best. Looked a little salty and.
I thought you were saying pictures where she's sucking dirty dick. You're like, I found the tonsil problem.
You know who I'm surprised is not tapping in? If you're a part of the Adult Swim crew, I'm surprised he's not here right now. DT Dub has a special hatred against Doja, and I'm surprised he's not dancing right
I
now.
love Doja, but I love pop music. I'm a pop music idiot.
Yeah,
so like I'm into that.
That's the king of pop, you know? Michael
Jackson. No Name decided to stop touring because she saw too many white people in the audience. And I feel that. And, that's very similar to what happened with Chappelle when he had his first breakdown. I don't want to say breakdown, revelation.
Breakthrough.
Yeah, breakthrough. And what it was is that too many white people in his production crew were laughing at his joke where he was talking about skin color, and he was like, well, this is a black person joke. Why are these white young people laughing at it?
I just want to say something. No one had a problem with anything Dave Chappelle has ever said ever when he was just making jokes about slavery, pimping, and hoes. They never took issue with anything he said.
Yeah. And he like, look at his material back in the day. He had some zingers, man.
Yeah, racy.
It was fucking, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see. You know, she'll be back on the men. Doja Cat obviously doesn't.
There were all these white people were laughing at Ashy Larry, right?
Yeah, they love that shit.
Ashy Larry.
They love that shit. Yo, I think we made some good ground. You kind of popped off tonight. You took my place. Normally, I'm on the other side of the table, man. How's it feel to be on the Steve side for once? We're just like, no.
I let loose today. Let's hope they don't catch me, the government. And they cancel me. They put me in a cage. The things I've said.
Oh, bro, you know who you say? You know, it's a conundrum that I really love. You remember Dead Prez? That hip hop.
Yeah.
Dead Prez. And you remember? There's a club in Lower Manhattan and Soho. I think it's Soho. Called SOBs. And one night, me and Zeus, when we were promoting for that company, 33 Degrees, we were out there.
I remember that.
We were hanging banners and stuff like that, and they were performing, and it was nothing but white kids. And I was Zeus wasn't really up on their music. I was like, bro, I'm like, all these white kids going to see Dead Prez, do they not know the type of music they make? And I mean, because there's nothing in the music that's incredibly inviting to white people. And I just remember being baffled by that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that they attracted a white crowd.
Yeah. Huge, nothing but white backpackers, man. And I remember when they were coming out and they were just like, man, that was so real. That was so raw. I'm like, yo, they just called you the C word for like an hour straight. Like, yo, I could hear them monologuing, and then it was like, and another thing you need to understand, when my boot is on your neck.
I like her music, but then I found out that Doja works with Dr. Luke, and that is a man that needs to stop making money. Dr. Luke, is he the one who abused Kesha?
What? Who's Dr. Luke?
I think he's the producer of Kesha who sexually like abused her when she was young. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. Oh, okay, yes.
I get these scumbags confused.
I think doctors that do those type of things should be held to the highest standard of prosecution. And this is an actual doctor or a performer? Wait, catch me.
No, he's like a producer. He's like a scumbag.
Oh, piece of shit.
He has a doctorate in some shit, and he calls himself Dr. Luke. Also, black men can't make her preference and get mad when she prefers other men.
Yo, here's where I have found that's a great take. I found a great amount of freedom. I don't care who Doja Cat wants. I just want to know why her hairline looks like Larry Elder's at her age, man. Like, where's the rest of her hair at, bro? It's like pushed back so far. Am I allowed to make that joke? You don't think Doja Cat looks like a Klingon? You don't think like her? You don't think that you can land a plane on that shiny light forehead?
Oh my god! Oh my god! You know what? You know what covers it up? You know her anime video? I forget what it was for.
Yeah. No,
you know what? So there's a video that's half anime and half her, and she's wearing UFOs, except the ass cheeks are cut out.
Okay,
that's why we're distracted by that shit. We're not looking at a forehead.
Wait, well, hold on for a second. Let me ask you a question. Pub said you're allowed to make that joke, but it's see, this is okay. So what's the standard here? Because I thought we were trolling. Like, yo, where I grew up, Pubs, any joke when you're snapping is cool. You're saying we're going after mothers, we're going after grandmothers, and sometimes we might even go after your dead uncle. I'm just saying, come on, yo. You don't think that hairline's pushed back a little bit further than it needs to be? Doja Cat, you know, I don't know. Bex thinks it's funny, so I'm all right with it.
So a little controversial. They said you're allowed to make that joke, but it's distasteful. This is curious. Okay. Jay says he owns Kesha's music still. Yeah. So apparently the story is that he's the producer of Kesha, and when she was pretty young, he used to get her super fucking high, fuck the shit out of her, while somehow bamboozled, like as these producers do, all the rights to her music. And like,
hey, let me just acknowledge someone real quick. Minnie Pearl, what's up? If I don't know who you are, I apologize, but thank you for calling me out by name. I hope you're doing good and enjoying the stream. Owns her rights, abused her. So, okay, Doja Cat's still in business with this gentleman. Has she made a comment or a statement about this officially? What's going on there?
I think she's making money and she's into it and looks the other way at these people. As a lot of these people do, right?
So the music industry is being the music industry. This is not a new tale, bro. Look at how they sexualize young Christina Aguilera, young Britney Spears. What's that crazy girl's name? Catch Me Outside, Bad Baby.
I don't know what that shows up, but I did.
Bro, I'm telling you, this is not new for the music industry, man. And people want to call things out until it hits their pockets. I'm saying this is wrong, no matter how it impacts the channel. Like what happened to Kesha? Is it? That's wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, leave me out the contract. I don't want to do any work with you, man. I'm good with that.
I mean, here's what it is. If we can eliminate all the middlemen who fucking fuck up art, that would be fucking amazing. But like Hollywood has them. Like, remember when Hollywood was like, Me Too only blew. I'm gonna get canceled, Bubs. Like, Me Too only blew up after people were already like pushing against the Velvet Mafia that runs it. So the press lines were Kevin Spacey's been molesting boys forever.
Oh, right.
And then people were like, yo, what's going on with these gay producers do all these stuff? And suddenly they're like, by the way, that fat fuck over there, what's his face? He's been raping women. And they point out, and they're like, men are
easy. The algorithm. It's a late night, but
it said roping women. so they pointed out, and suddenly Me Too blew the hell up, and people stopped looking at Kevin Spacey and the other stuff that's going on in Hollywood on the casting couches.
Right.
And I was like, well, that was convenient. But like you said, Hollywood, the music industry will be the music industry. Hollywood hasn't changed since Me Too. I promise.
That's why I always find it interesting to push for the legalization of, you know what? Let me not go there. We don't have much show left. I was about to open the can of worms, but casting couches are dirty across the board. And I see people defending certain trades now. And I'm just like, do you know the things they... It's...
Wait, hold on. Yeah, no, wait, and people, here's what it is. They want to look the other way as long as they get cheap, fun entertainment, right?
Yeah.
They don't care how many actors or kids have been molested as long as they get their Avengers movie for cheap.
Or they don't care when they falsely accuse someone. Like, what was Anthony Bourdain's last girlfriend's name? Daria Argento. She was falsely accused of doing something with a young boy.
Right. Everybody said that she was and
then it got refuted. Turned out she didn't do it. No one apologized.
No, as a matter of fact, now that you say that, I remember the breaking that she was scum. I don't remember any stories about her being name cleared.
Being vindicated. Also, Rose McGowan, now a Fox contributor, right? She stepped away from the it's crazy how all this stuff plays out, man. You can land this thing is so crazy you couldn't land this plane on Doja Cat's forehead.
Yo, by the way, we're gonna close up, but I gotta say the end of society is marked right here by Pubs saying Pubs is writing the real spelling of Bad Baby. That's how you spell it.
Yeah.
That is why society can go no further. We're all gonna die. The apocalypse is upon us. Bro, but FanBoy Modeling School will be there to make jokes about it.
Wait, hold on. Did you see? I don't know what his relationship with her is, so I don't want to call him a good dad or a bad dad. But did you see the article about Bad Baby's dad coming out and saying that he feels like his daughter's being groomed for adult content?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm sure she's been getting groomed from the moment she walked out of that Dr. Phil thing.
Yeah, XXX stuff. The XXX stuff right there, man. Bro. It's been a good night.
I've had a good time. You guys got me started. You go after Dr. King. I will come after you like a fucking animal. Like a locomotive, one of those Japanese bullet trains, motherfucker. I believe in freedom of speech, but if you say something that pisses me off, you're getting smacked.
Not free from consequences, man.
Not free from consequences. Simone's, say what you will. You're not free from consequences. The guy was
Oh.
blackmailing. He just said, "Oh my God, more things piling in." We love you all. You guys are amazing. This is the Fanboy Modeling School signing off. Steve, you got any shout outs or promotions?
Yo, it was a good stream break. I'm back. This was the great way to come back. I had a great stream with DaVinci. I was looking forward to our stream all day long, man. I enjoy the conversation. Truly, brother. I love you. You know where to find me. Monday through Friday. Tomorrow night's Dope Dynamics. Not for the faint of heart. We're going to be getting into some heavy topics tomorrow night. So, I'll see you there.
Wait.
Tomorrow's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's time for Dumbing Out with DJ Sensi.
Is there a conversation or no?
No. I was trying to land someone. I'll tell you off air who I was trying to get on the show.
That's fine. That's fine because I was going to send you some overlay shit.
Okay,
that's cool. So tomorrow, Dumbing Out with Sensi Start, 10 p.m. on Mixcloud.
Yes.
And and then Wednesday, Dope Dynamics comes back. But before that is Rogue Planet. Hopefully, I will have Cincy Star there because we really need to talk about Atlanta. It is time to have this conversation, my brother. It is time because these last couple of episodes have been nuts.
Can we promote Fight Juice? Stay tuned. The juice.
Stay tuned. It's coming. The Fight Juice is happening. Me and Gray are working on the artwork. It's coming. We'll let them know. But July 1st is our launch day, right?
Yes, July 1st is going to be crazy. That's all we can give you. What else is going on with Rogue Planet, man? Any new videos coming out? What's up?
Well, I'm going to have videos throughout the week on Voice of the Fat Mantis. Rogue Planet's going to be doing an episode on... Finally, yes, sir. We are having an Atlanta talk this weekend, 8 p.m. Not tomorrow, on Wednesday. Of course, Men Supporting Men, supposedly 8 p.m. on Friday. Do we have a Thursday request box?
Thursday request box will be going on, man. We'll have some fun Thursday, man.
Okay. So it looks like we're all getting back to status quo. We missed you guys, but we are here, and we're going to make it happen. Bex says, I've been waiting for that Atlanta conversation. Absolutely.
Say it.
But until next time, ciao for now, bitches.